board agenda and know what it meant. Tonight is not the public hearing on that, on the repeal of that.
I know, it's, I don't
Okay.
think, but my point is, I don't think it should be going on.
It's fine, as long as, that's fine, as long as you know it's not, are you, Dave, are you talking about this too?
I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah! Okay, cool. So, just as long as you know tonight's not the
Well, I
public
understand,
hearing.
because there's a February 1st.
Very good. Very good.
Jeff, see you later, bud. Hey, how are you? Congratulations. We'll see you later.
Send out something about a meeting tomorrow. You included me, I don't know, am I supposed to be here?
I was just replying all the time. If you want to be there, you're
No, no,
welcome.
well, I'm just saying, it's the opportunity, I won't be working.
Yeah, go ahead, we say.
If I get a chance, I'll come.
Can't see.
I can't say for sure.
Okay.
Excuse us.
No, because then I check my calendar, and usually, Kim puts that on the calendar. Was you there? Just curious, in case you're there.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about it, you can. We don't have any agenda.
I know, so.
I do have to get this moving. This meeting started.
Oh, there we go.
Good, well, just chase those two women.
Right, it's only
I
a.
didn't want to chase them out, but they're like, they're here for the EMS. I did tonight, I'm like, you don't have one on the agenda tonight.
First time in a while.
It's been the first time in a long time, yeah.
You can still speak if they open the
And
floor.
that's exactly what I said. And,
Oh, really? Yeah.
oh, I shouldn't whisper, right? Hi, Charlie. Thanks, Charlie.
All the boys down here.
Yeah, Bridget was there. She had a buzzer on me. Electric shock therapy. She said if I say anything that she doesn't agree with, I'm going to use that.
Then they gotta call them something.
Right.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I don't know if it's just.
Don't know who it was. We just listened to everything Bob 5 times. Notorious for once the gas is off, he goes and shot him. And he did not. Okay. So tonight, we got a minute to go, is not Dan Agnew's test stuff.
No,
Okay.
tomorrow morning we'll be.
Oh, gonna go over then, yeah? And I got this Councilman Keel on that because he's the liaison, so I want to make sure he knows kind of what we're working on and what we did.
Do you want me to send you over? I can send the whole board the video from each kind of level.
They want to watch it?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, we'll learn like,
Oh, wow.
that angle was cutting off Jimmy a little bit with that TV, so things like that. But audio and video was good. Okay, it looks like we are at 7. We are at 7. So are we ready?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, then let's bring the January 18th, 2024 Webster Town Board meeting to order. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes.
Dolly, can you take roll call, please?
Supervisor Flaherty.
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Present?
Councilman Cahill.
Here.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Here.
Councilwoman Wright.
Here.
Town Attorney Genesi.
Present.
Okay, our first item on the agenda tonight is both my favorite and sometimes least favorite portion of the town board meeting. It is the open to the floor, each speaker allowed up to 5 minutes to speak about anything that they want. I won't get into details why it is both my favorite and least favorite. But I will say it becomes my least favorite when somebody got misinformation through social media or in the mail and then takes the podium and talks about it. I always feel bad for them after that. They maybe got false information. But it's their 5 minutes. Now we have 2 gentlemen that signed up today, and we go in order of them signing in. And our first gentleman to talk is David Vega.
Thank you. I probably would be the one that is maybe false information, but there's information that I do have. And I just feel I have to say what I have to say. So I'm Dave Vega. I live at 1153 Bay Road. I purchased my home about 3.5 years ago. As I know, I received 5 minutes to speak. I know most of my words will fall on deaf ears, but I feel I just have to say something. When I purchased my home, I sacrificed the front yard for a beautiful backyard and woods. Since our purchase, I was never notified of any planned construction, only by a neighbor that did their own investigation prior to my purchase. At this point, the process was well on its way. After the landlocked home behind me, 1141 Bay Road, was sold, it was my understanding that this home would be remodeled and lived in. I would assume that, seeing the case that it was mortgaged under a first-time home buyer's mortgage with Freddie Mac, and there's certain provisions that must be met when you mortgage a home under that loan. Since then, the 1960s house has been demolished. I assume the asbestos was removed, and where evaluation was deemed, no asbestos was present prior to demolishing, as the walkthrough of the location prior shows signs. I've discussed moving with my family due to the housing development being constructed and the eyesore in my backyard it causes. I've since gotten past that, hoping that the final construction will have greenery in place to shield the eyesore and it will look suitable. Repealing Chapter 103 should not be an option, nor on the table. There is laws in place to protect the community, the residents, and the children. The only reason we are here today is so that Mr. Kashiani can place a helicopter landing pad 100 feet from my house and other residential housings. As we all know, this has been brought to the board prior and did not go through. When families go looking for houses, they look for single-family homes, townhomes, living communities. Where does a helicopter pad fit in? It does not. It's just not normal. I urge the board to think about this in the future when discussing this and when discussing repealing Chapter 103. Just because you can do it, doesn't mean you should. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Okay. Next up is Dave Malecki.
Dave Malecki of West Webster, Gilbert Circle. It's not all that far from the intersection where Ridge Road property is that you've been investigating on. So they get 5 minutes, probably won't take 5 minutes. It's really, what probably in the county is working service for most. Early 80s, almost about 40 years ago, right? At that time, I could drive across the Bay Outlet Bridge. It was a different bridge then. And suddenly, I didn't know it, but essentially the bridge went away. Right? Meantime, they planned to buy property around Could, moved there in 86, figured, oh, we're going to put a bridge there pretty soon. Never really happened. In 98, I guess it was, the Bay Outlet, Renwick Bay Outlet Bridge was put in. I like to bike a lot, and in case you don't know, it's not such a good bike in there. In November, December, January, February, March. The rest of the year is really a long bike, not those months. So what I've got here is 5 whys. I learned about this technique when I worked at Xerox years ago, when the Japanese were kicking our butt. We understood that the way that they would understand the issue was that they'd ask 5 questions. Why this, why that? So I've got 5 questions for you guys. You don't have to answer it today, it says the rules, but you can whenever you want. And I should certainly hope that you think about it and do answer it publicly. First question, why are you to be here tonight on the town board? I'm thinking it's because you have a lot invested in Webster. That's why I'm here. Second question, why is the Bay Outlet closed to pedestrians, bicyclists, and road traffic in April and November? It's a serious question, and I really would like an answer. Because, as I pointed out, since 1985, really it's not been available for bicycling from a practical standpoint. Third question, why was Chapter 1.3 law created? I know some things about it. A couple of gentlemen here in the audience are pretty invested in that, I think, but I don't know the whole story. I certainly would like to know more. Okay. Why are you trying to repeal the Chapter 1.3 law? Maybe I just found out something with the previous speaker, but I'm interested in that too because as a hobby, I like to fly drones. And I do know that the #1 concern with drones is to make sure that they aren't going to end up on somebody's windshield, an airplane, helicopter, whatever. And in order to get a license under FAA Part 107, which I invested time and money in getting, I had to study a lot about FAA policy and procedures. For instance, the Class 3 airport here that we have here in Rochester, I can't fly my drone within 5 miles there unless I go through an awful lot of hoops, which are bigger hoops than you guys can do in the plane, I'll tell you that. So that was my 3rd and 4th question. And really the 5th question has to do with bicycling hobby. If you want to know about bicycling, just see somebody that bikes and ask them why they like to bike. There's a million reasons why, and an interesting thing is, why don't you go to, say, ChatGPT and ask it what you can do with a bicycle. Okay, so my real question here tonight is this last one. Why aren't you publicly following the conclusions of the 2018 Around Bay Outlet Bridge feasibility study? So I haven't heard anything publicly from anybody on the board in Webster. I have had some, what I would consider semi-private conversation with the supervisor, but really this is for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Okay, and ladies, did yes. Okay, well, next up on the agenda, we have 3 minutes that Dolly, our town clerk, produced and looked through. The first one is actually the January 4th organizational meeting. I reviewed those and I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye.
And immediately after that organizational meeting, we had our first regular board meeting of the year on January 4th. I reviewed the minutes, Dolly, and I make a motion to approve those.
I'll
Second?
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Aye.
And last Thursday night's workshop, which also included a resolution regarding EMS section, I'm not sure if we do those minutes and make a motion to approve them. Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright?
Aye.
Patty, it was you this week, right?
It was. I reviewed all the bills on Tuesday. Everything was in order, and I would move that we pay them.
Second.
excuse me, Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Finley?
I'll let Paul Adams describe the next two resolutions, I'm sorry, no. The second resolution on the agenda, I reviewed the prepaid warrants as submitted by Paul Adams, the Director of Finance, and make a motion to approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright?
Aye.
And I would also make a motion to approve the purchase orders as submitted by Paul Adams, the Director of Finance.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
I apologize, Paul, I thought it was balance, or transfers and budget.
That's next time.
Right. Okay. Long day. The next resolution, number 4 on the agenda, I'm going to go over to, I think, a combination probably of Pat Stevens, our highway superintendent, and actually Paul Adams, our finance.
Yeah, essentially the next item, highway law requires certain amounts within the budget to be specifically approved by the board in order to be spent. So I think these are the items that we call to name a resolution to pass. It does tie to the 2024 budget. And it's essentially for permanent road improvements.
Correct. It's related to New York State highway law. To put an agreement in place for certain improvements. So these numbers reflect the sections of the approved budget that go for those items. There's a general that kind of spreads out through the entire town. And there's a capital improvement section. This year the capital improvements will be done on Shanley, Marston, and then some preparatory work on Russell. That's outlined in the agreement.
And Pat took me through the agreement, and we went through the whole process, and we went through the budget, and it's good, and all the numbers tie as far as I.
You're way ahead of me, Jen, because this is the 5th of January that this resolution comes up every January.
Yes, it does.
And the first couple times it came up, I was like, yeah, I'm having a hard time understanding exactly why we're doing this resolution. I guess in layman terms, something I said a couple minutes ago, Paul, is that we have flexibility of budget transfers and budget amendments in the year. This slotted money, you don't have as much flexibility. It is slotted dollars for certain specific things that the highway superintendent is going to do. It's kind of how I understood it.
I think highway superintendents have more spending power than your average department head, according to New York State highway law. So this is all permanent.
Jen, it's your department. If you want to.
I will make a motion. I feel very confident, comfortable making this motion after working with Pat. To authorize an agreement between the highway superintendent and the Webster Town Board to spend 2024 highway funds in the amount of $1,703,065 for general repairs and $610,540 for permanent improvements.
Second.
Councilwoman Wright?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. Interesting, the next one, well, I know Paul, I guess the best people to talk to this in the absence of our patrol, the sewer department, probably either Charlie, Patty, Paul, and or myself. Reader's Digest on this. October of 2020 was the first time that several town officials sat down with Monroe County officials. And I'm going to say that again, October 2020, that was 3 years, 4 months ago, to talk about amending this IMA, intermunicipal agreement for those keeping track at home. Basically, 20 years ago, the county of Monroe and the town of Webster, if memory serves me, Paul, it was about a $20 million? No. $20 million project.
Wasn't that much. Because talking about the Sandbar Park sewer improvement.
Yeah. Basically, it was a combine between the county and the town on some sewer pipes, sanitary sewer pipes that went down Bay Road and then, down Bay Road and then to Lake Road. And what makes that interesting is that some of the flow of sewer stuff that goes down there is coming from Penfield, which is really pure waters. They don't have a sanitary sewer plant like the town of Webster does. And some of that flow then is parsed out and goes to the town of Webster's sewer plant. So the IMA, or really there were two intermunicipal agreements between the county and the town back 20 years ago, Charlie. One was for the capital, the actual however many millions of dollars this thing cost to install 20 years ago. Memory serves me on the capital one, Paul. The county picked up about 67% of it. We picked up 33%?
I think it's actually the reverse. I think
Was it the
the
reverse?
contributes about 60%, and we're about 40.
Boy, am I glad you're here.
Yeah.
I'm not that up on the capital one,
So
because
we
the capital one, well, long story short, there had to be some additions 20 years later to this pipe structure, and the county came to us 3.5 years ago and said, well, you know, we think we got to put in these changes, and let's go to the original IMA. The town's going to pay 60% of that capital, and the county's going to pay the other 40%. Through a lot of different meetings of that nature, it was determined that the county was going to pick up the full cost, and the town wasn't going to pick up any of the cost. That was really settled a while back. But the second part of the intermunicipal agreement was the ongoing maintenance of this system that really does service both coming out of Penfield and going to Pure Waters, which is county, and coming to the town of Webster's sanitary sewer plant. And it was shown over the years that there wasn't enough detail, especially on reading how much flow was coming to Webster versus how much was going to Pure Waters, relative to how much flow was really coming out of Penfield and going to Pure Waters. I think I might be confusing the issue, but we were concerned that maybe the town of Webster was taking on more sewage to treat, and that cost us money, than actually was coming out of Webster, that we were basically taking on Penfield sewage, treating it at our sewer plant, but not getting compensated for it. So really the essence of the last 3.5 years was working with Charlie, our town attorney, and the county attorneys, and Patty Cataldi is the liaison town board member to the sewer plant. You've been in a lot of meetings on this, have you not? And it's been an interesting 3.5 years, but the culmination of that is, along with Art Patron at our sewer plant, is that we feel as though the verbiage in this amended IMA is going to protect the town, and to be honest with you, protect the county for the foreseeable next 20 years, that it spells out how we're going to monitor that flow, how we're going to reimburse each other if one of the municipalities ends up taking more flow than they should have taken based on where it came from. So, if that was long-winded, remember it's been 3.5 years. Is that essentially what happened there, Charlie?
A lot of meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, with that being said, I know that the amended IMA is out to the board members. It's been posted, I think, up on the website. And to the layman who didn't get my verbose explanation, they probably like, I don't even know what this is. Well, they still don't after that explanation. However, the resolution as it sits right here, I'm not going to make this motion because someone has to add to this and authorize the town supervisor to sign that amended IMA. If somebody wants to.
I can do that. I move that we amend the Bay Road Sewer IMA with Monroe County on maintenance and flow readings and authorize the supervisor to sign such amended IMA.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. Very happy.
Glad to get that done.
Well, that has been a long time getting a ribbon put around that thing moving into that. Okay. The next resolution, Resolution 6, is basically housekeeping on the legal process of either amending a town law or town code, or in this case, Charlie, a proposal to repeal. And we did that. This is the first board action on that, and that is to set a public hearing and to advertise it appropriately. I think it's no less than 10 days, no more than 20 days.
Because the local laws are 5 days.
Thank you. And our newspaper of record, per the law, is the Webster Herald. So this will be published in the Webster Herald for the January 24th edition, which is next Wednesday. But there will be a public hearing, and it'll explain what it's about. And then it'll say that the public hearing will be on Thursday, February 1st, 2024, right back in this room at 7:30 p.m. That's the best I can do to explain it, because as the process moves along, the night of the public hearing, I'll do some more explanation about what happens at the public hearing. And then what would happen subsequent to the public hearing as far as the board discernment of voting on the proposed repeal.
Well, one of the first things that happens at the public hearing is it is an opportunity for people to speak.
Yes. Great point. Our Director of Communications is in the room tonight, Bridget Harvey. Even though legally, the only thing that we have to do as a municipality is put this in the newspaper of record for the town, for the law. I think we do a great job of trying to make sure it's known to all the citizens via the website, via social media, via several different communication mechanisms, so that somebody can hopefully come to us on February 2nd and say, I didn't know about the public hearing on February 1st. Had I known, I would have come and taken the podium for 5 minutes and given my opinion. Any questions or comments from the town board? Okay, well then I'm going to make a motion to schedule a public hearing for Thursday, February 21st, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. in the Webster Town Board Room at 1002 Van Ingen, the court building right here, to consider a local law to repeal in its entirety Chapter 103 of the Code of the Town of Webster, aircraft, airports, and heliports, and to publish notice of that public hearing in the January 24, 2024 edition of the Webster Herald. That's my motion.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright?
Aye.
Okay, number 7, we just found this out yesterday, actually, in a meeting I had with Pat Stevens and Josh Artuzo, is that it looks like the zoning board, after a tumultuous 2023 as far as members on that board, which I thought we navigated about as well as we could, Charlie. They have suggested to the town board that Michael Short, they'd like to see as the chairman. I will say that it's the town board's decision on who they appoint as the chairman, but everything that I have heard and seen about Michael Short, I certainly have no problems making this motion to appoint Michael Short. Any comments or questions? Okay. I make a motion to appoint Michael Short as the chairman of the Webster Zoning Board of Appeals for the term of 1 year ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Tuttle.
Aye.
Okay, well, the next item up, it's funny, I thought that this might be something that really didn't need to go to resolution. It's not a contract as much as it is an invoice that we've received from Frontier Abstract. But I think in the spirit of transparency and what we've been trying to do on the town board for the last few years, I call it err on the side of caution. Explain it in a public forum like this, what we're doing, and then have all 5 members of the board vote on it. This is tied to 600 Ridge Road, which is the old Webster Furniture Strippers. On November 14th of last year, which I believe it's about a little more than 2 months ago, the Monroe County Legislature went through their process where they approved selling 600 Ridge Road to the town of Webster for $1. They were able to do that because they had perfected a real estate tax foreclosure in September against that property. And after receiving what's called a referee's deed, which really expunges all any liens on the property, the town and their town attorney worked with the county attorney, and we said, yes, we would like to have title to this property so we can move forward with what has been a 20-year problem. And any revitalization of the West Webster hamlet is going nowhere unless, that's the head of the snake. That's right at the corner there of Gravel and Ridge. And so it was decided, and there's been many board meetings, many workshops on this subject over the last couple of years. Now, we have not taken title to the property because there are 3 things that are hurdles we have to overcome that it would be unconscionable for us to move forward unless these 3 hurdles are unequivocally and irrefutably overcome and papered up. One of them is that we are entering into an agreement with the New York State DEC, the town, the DEC, and about 7 other agencies. And this agreement, in more words or less, is these agencies are saying, hey, look, we're not gonna sue you with whatever ends up happening with contamination that is found at the property. I think a lot of the reasons why those agencies are willing to do that is that we did phase 2 environmental work back in November of 2022 and January of 23, and at least the preliminary results are contrary to legend of the last 20 years, and it was awful. It does not appear to be as bad as people had made it out to be. Once we get title to it, I think we still need to finish a few more things just to make sure that we have exactly what is the contamination, because that'll lead to what needs to be done to remediate. So those agencies have all signed this agreement except for the oil spill fund. And our attorney, who we retained for this, Knopf Shaw, Alan Knopf and his partner Linda Shaw, have been chasing around the oil spill fund to sign this thing. The holidays, I guess. Until they sign it, it would be very dumb for us to take title to that property. That was in the details. So that's hurdle 1. Hurdle 2 is that Day Engineering is who did the phase 2 environmental testing for us back in November of 22 and January of 23. Alan Knopf, as he counsels us on this, Charlie, said we really need a more robust phase 1, which is kind of a history of the property and a narrative of what might be there and this and that. We do not have the final phase 1, for lack of better terms, Charlie. Although Josh Artuso, I think, told me, Pat, yesterday that the 2 things they needed to do, they were accomplishing yesterday. They were going to be on site at 600 Ridge. I think they were going down in the basement to make sure they saw what was there. And they're also doing an interview with one of the neighbors there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that that is forthcoming. And that's hurdle 2. Hurdle 3 is this resolution. We followed the same playbook that we did a couple years ago when the town purchased from Monroe County, post-real estate tax foreclosure, the 8 acres that is adjacent to our current highway garage. We bought those 8 acres off Monroe County for $52,000 because they had just foreclosed on it for tax purposes. Now, I'm sure the county does a wonderful job, Charlie, as far as the legal work on 3,000 properties that get into tax foreclosure, right? But if you don't cross a T and you don't dot an I in a foreclosure process, buyer beware. Because you might take title to that property for $52,000, but in 2 years, somebody could come out of the woods and say, I got a papyrus deed here that shows I have a claim on this property, and we didn't get that property for 52 grand. We might have to pay another 100, 200 grand. Isn't that a little too anecdotal, Charlie? Is that good?
Go back to each.
Right. So, it's kind of measure twice, cut once. We had Frontier Abstract, a title company downtown, do that work for us. The town representatives who have worked with Frontier have been very impressed by their work. It's been very reasonable in price, and they've been very whatever. So it was a very easy move for us to say, can you replicate this for us buying 600 Ridge? And they did. And tonight, we are doing a resolution to pay them, which is really a combination of their title work, but also I want them, I say we want them to file the deeds when we take title. Because the devil, once again, is in the details. And if that filing at the county clerk's office is done wrong, the town will pay for that down the line. And so I would rather have Frontier Abstract, our title company, not the county, shepherd that in and make sure it's done in the way we need it to be done to protect the town and its taxpayers. I'll get off my soapbox. Any questions from the town board members?
No, I think that was pretty thorough, Tom. And as the newest member on the board, I'm completely up to speed on this one now, so thank you.
Well, you're welcome, Jefferson. I know I sometimes can over-explain things, but I'd rather err on the side of that than under.
Of course.
I would move to authorize the payment for title work and recording fees for 600 Ridge Road from Frontier Abstract at cost not to exceed $2,000.
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn? Aye. Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. Well, I don't have any long explanations, so we're going to get you guys out of here, but this last one is kind of initiating Jennifer Wright as a true board member because
There's 2 more, not 1 more. Backside. 2. And they're,
9 and 10.
and I'm,
well,
and I'm happy to take
You're
care of
doing
both
both
of these
because
as I am the liaison
you
to
got it.
assessing and parks and recreation and the highway.
I'll make a
Very
deal with
happy
you.
to be.
You know the gig then. Once you do number 9, I'll let Charlie explain what you can do on number 10.
And I already got the
Oh, okay.
speed tip, so we're like moving right along.
Okay.
So, this one is pretty straightforward. The assessing office has a 2017 Chevy Malibu, and it is going to be traded in. So I will make a resolution to approve the following asset for trade-in from the assessment office. It's a 2017 Chevy Malibu as a tag 06554.
Second.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn? Aye. Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
And now the final item on the agenda tonight is very similar. It is a resolution to approve a number of items from the Parks and Recreation Department, specifically the gym over at the rec center. There are 8 treadmills, 2 adaptive motion trainers, 4 elliptical cross trainers, 2 recumbent bikes, and 2 upright bikes. And I will make a resolution to approve all of those items to be moved into surplus from the Parks and Recreation Department. And as Paul was telling me, these items, as opposed to trading them in and getting pennies on the dollar, the Parks and Rec Department head, Chris, is going to sell these items so that the town can make a little more money, help with taxpayer dollars, and use that to alleviate the cost of the equipment that's replacing.
Yeah, there's new equipment on its way in. So Chris thinks he's got quite a few buyers for this equipment, so I think he's gonna make up for sell them individually. They're really nice pieces of equipment.
And this motion is like a paid public announcement to join the gym at the Webster Recreation Center. We'd love to have you be a member.
Well
It's
done,
there.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
I will second it.
Councilwoman Wright?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn? Aye. Councilwoman McCollum?
Aye.
Supervisor Curry?
And that concludes our agenda tonight, so we'll do our round table and Pat?
Around the table, okay. So winter season is upon us. The guys actually got done doing a salt run just as the meeting was starting. So they're out there salting the roads, making sure they're safe. We've had a fair amount of winter weather already. We're out there, so just a reminder for residential streets and stuff like that. There's a parking ban overnight. You're not allowed to plow your snow across the street. A lot of those rules can all be found on our website, things like that. But please do everything you can so we can get out there and keep the roads safe for you. Jennifer mentioned I had a nice meeting with her this week and starting over some of the budgetary stuff. So that was nice to kick off the year with that. We had a new liaison, a new councilwoman, and we kind of went through a lot of things in the budget. The other exciting thing we have going on is the new highway facility is well underway. We're moving toward starting to erect steel on the first portions of the foundation in the next couple of weeks. So we are currently on budget and on schedule to be moving into that building in spring of 2025, which is very, very exciting for everyone. So that's going well so far as well.
Last week I did a presentation on the capital project matrix, which offers certain metrics to measure the progress of many capital projects that we have going on in town. So I've now updated the numbers through December 31st. I'll be working with Bridget to come up with a good way to present that to the public via our website.
Jennifer?
I think I already did mine. Mine was join the gym.
Your PSA is done?
My public service announcement is join the gym at the Recreation Center. I'm really looking forward to working with Pat, and there's going to be a lot coming from the assessment office, and I'm looking forward to digging in there as well.
Okay.
I don't have anything to offer this week.
Oh boy. Charlie, are you gonna double up because Patty gave you extra time?
We've had a number of things that have been on my long time coming.
Yeah.
And a lot of work, a lot of years. You already mentioned it. You really have to be this.
Yeah.
Glad that some of these things are done.
Yeah. Yes.
Got plenty of other things.
We do. The list never ends, it seems. Jenny?
As always, glad to be here and thank you for everyone to be here tonight. Also, as a liaison for the public library and the Webster Museum, the Webster Public Library, we have a lot of events coming up, so please check your website or, call up and help to support your community. And that would be wonderful. Be careful driving out there too.
You know, in a way, I thought I'd love for somebody to switch it for Jan, mic drop, but for now, we'll continue.
Well, I'm just glad nobody stole my thunder tonight, because I thought for sure somebody would. Just got a big game coming up Sunday with the Bills, and I'm wishing the Bills the best of luck. Looking forward to them winning that game against Kansas City.
Go Bills.
That's right. That's all I have.
All right, nothing about taxes being dropped in on
You haven't received your tax bill, please contact.
Yeah.
I sent mine to town.
Great. Well, gang, that's it. Thank you, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
And Tom, I'll make sure you get my folder. It doesn't get left out in the corner over here.
How are you?
That's your biggest learning curve. It's pretty darn good. Yeah. Because they got
I retired before. So I got more time to read the paper.
You didn't have to see, and I didn't have time for that.
Yeah. Not much. And then we can stand up. I only have